Okay, so I'm going to be coming around checking your homework in a minute. Again, just as a reminder, you should have had enough time to finish it yesterday. I'm just hoping that you should have had enough time to complete it. And if you didn't get a question, that you were to at least show me that you've attempted it. Do you have to get it correct? No, but I need to see that you've attempted it. Um, so this work here, as a nice review, because we're going to be getting into a little bit of this, what does 3 in brackets and 2 in brackets mean? What does that mean, Austin? Multiplication. So if I do 3 times 2, that's really simple. What do I get? 6. Okay, how about this one? 3 bracket x. What do you get for that when you do 3 bracket x? Jenny? Good. Why do I get 3x, Jenny? Do you know why? Yeah, again, remember when there's no number in front, it's that 1. So we do 3 times 1, which gives me 3, and then I just attach it with a x. How about this one here? Someone who I haven't heard from today. Vanessa? 6x. Very good. Okay, how about the last one? How about the last one? Okay, I don't, wait, what's your name? Zach. Very good, 16x squared. So this is the type of math that we're going to be working with today.
At this time, I would ask all grade 9 classes, that's all grade 9 students and their teachers, to please make their way to the small gym. That's all grade 9 classes, students and teachers to the small gym at this time. Thank you.
Just assembly day, like I don't know, not this period. Okay, can you erase your desks? And then I'm going to give you out the note for today. You're welcome. Okay. So here's the note for today. Again, we're going to be reviewing this. This is nothing new. You would have done this in grade, for academics, you definitely would have done this in grade 10 academic. Applied, you probably wouldn't have done it this far in, or this much in depth. So I'm giving you the notes. We're going to, again, your goal by today is you want to use the distributive property to simplify expressions. Okay, yesterday or Friday we talked about, and Thursday, we talked about simplifying expressions with no brackets. That was just collecting like terms. This one, we now have a bit of brackets. So, recall the distributive property. Again, you would have learned this in grade 9. Anyone remember what you would do here if you have a number on the outside of this binomial? Yeah, you multiply in. This is, sometimes students call this the rainbow, where you take your outside term and you would multiply it with your inside term. So a very, very generic way of writing this would be A times B plus A times C. That's the very generic way of writing that. That's with no numbers. Okay, so the steps, as soon as you see brackets, you're to eliminate brackets by using the distributive property. That's this, that rainbow in. And then you simplify by collecting like terms. So I have 2 examples here, which we are going to do. Now I have a bracket here. What number is on the outside of that bracket? Laura? 1. So I'm going to put that 1 in there. And it's like saying 1, I have to multiply inside. So 1 times x squared. Nick, what do I get? 1 times x squared. Yeah, x squared. If you multiply but 1 by everything in here, I'm going to get all the same terms. So I have x squared minus 6x plus 3. Because when you do 1, Jenny, you want to go put that on my desk for me? Put it on my desk, please. So I have 1 times x squared. 1 times negative 6 gives me negative 6x. 1 times positive 3 gives me positive 3. Then, this next one. Danielle, what am I going to do here with this second bracket? Multiply everything by positive or negative 2? Good, because again, we're always looking in front. So I'm going to take this positive 2 and multiply it inside this bracket here. Carissa, can you help me out? What do I get when I do positive 2 times 2x squared? Positive or negative? Good, so I write plus 4x squared. Nick, can you do the next one for me? So I just did 2 times 2x squared gives me 4x squared. Good. Plus 8, exact. What do I get for the last one? Yeah, negative 14. You added, that's okay. So now that I have, so again, as soon as I do the distributive property, I'm going to eliminate the brackets. So I have no brackets here, which is good. Now I can group like terms together to simplify. David, what are my like terms here that I'm going to group together? Okay, before you're jumping the gun, I want to group them together before you do the math. So I'll start with x squared. Good. Perfect. Always looking in front. If you don't have a calculator, can you please come get one? Are you copying any of this down, Laura? Because it's part of your note.
Yeah.
There's nothing copied down.
Yeah, there is. What's not
Do you want?
copied down?
Do you have all of that, sweetie?
Yeah.
Do. Pardon? The what? There's no power?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there a reason why you're late? Okay, go down to the office, get a late slip, please. Okay. So now I need to add or subtract the coefficients. Nathan, what will I write on this last step here? What did you say the last one was? Very good. Okay, so again, we're always looking in front to see whether or not it's positive or negative. This will get you full marks, showing all of those steps. So yes, you do need to show them. This one here is a little bit trickier. Rob, there's no brackets here, so what will I do with all of these terms? I just carry them down. 5xy plus 4yz minus 3xz. Now I have a bracket. What number, Rob, am I going to multiply inside that bracket? No, I'm not going to multiply the 3xz. Sarah, do you remember? No. No. Vanessa? Yeah, so is there a number in front of this bracket? No, but yes. So there's actually a negative 1 here. So I need to take this negative 1, because remember, I'm always looking in front, and I'm going to multiply that inside this bracket here. So Yulia, when I take negative 1 times positive 2xy, what do I get? Very good. And Caitlin, when I take negative 1 and I multiply it by positive yz, what do I get? Very good. And Kevin, what do I get when I take negative 1 times negative 4xz? Good. Okay, Ben, what will be my next step here? I've gotten rid of all of my brackets. What do I have to do?
5xy minus 2xy.
So 5xy minus 2xy. Good. We're grouping them together. So keep going for me.
Plus 4yz minus yz. Minus 3x plus 4xz.
Perfect. Okay. Austin, what will I then write as a final answer here?
3xy plus 3yz minus, sorry, just xz plus xz.
Plus xz. Okay, does anyone have any questions with that? Again, the trick there is that when there's no number in front, there's always that 1 there, and you want to look, is it positive or negative 1? Okay? All right, I want you to try this one out on your desk. Okay, let's see how you did or how you would do if I ask a question like this on your test, or not test, but a quiz on Thursday. So, Vanessa, shh, shh, shh. What was the first thing that you did here?
You would multiply first bracket by 3.
Good. So what do I get when I multiply that in?
9a squared minus 12.
Good. Laura, what do I get? What do I have to do with this second bracket here?
Multiply 2 times a squared.
What number am I going to multiply?
Negative 2 times a squared minus negative 2 squared.
Okay, so what would I get when I expand that in? Negative 2 times squared. Good. Nick, can you do the next one for me? So I do negative 2 times. Good. Positive 4a. Jenny, the last one? Good. How many of you had that line there? Okay, good. You're going to get 2 marks actually for this. One for expanding this blue part, one for expanding the red part. Danielle, what's my next step going to be here?
9a squared minus 2a squared.
Yep.
Plus 4a plus 10 minus 12.
You could have switched the negative 12, positive 10. Either one is absolutely good. Krista, what would my final answer be here?
7a squared plus 4a minus 3.
Beautiful. How many of you were able to get that answer? Oh, you guys are all stars. Okay, you can erase your desks. We're going to take it a step up. Again, this is still going with, you would have done this, definitely 9 academic, 10 academic you probably would have, or 10 applied you would have done. Why is this example here a little bit different? Yeah, this top one. Why is this one different from all the other ones that we've done? Austin? Yeah, there's a variable that I have to multiply in. And I have here as a recall, when multiplying variable terms, we do what to the exponents? Who remembers? Nick? Yeah, we add the exponents. So if I look here, this 3a, is there an exponent there? I don't see it though. So what would that exponent be if there's no exponent? 1. So I'm just going to do a little 1 there. And I'm going to put a little 1 there to remind me that there's always an exponent, even if there isn't one there. So where did I end up? Nick, you're up. What am I going to do first here?
Please excuse the interruption. At this time, all grade 10 classes, that's all students in grade 10, and their teachers are to make their way to the small gym.
Okay, what do I get for the first one? Very good. So I do 3 times 3, which gives me 9. I have a to the exponent 1, a to the exponent 2. I add the exponents. 1 plus 2 gives me 3. Zach, what do I get for my next term here? So I've just done this one. Pardon? Okay, I like that you have 12a squared. Now it's missing something. I can't just write 9a cubed. Pardon? Yeah. It always will be positive or negative. You always need a sign in between there. David, what will be my last one? Yeah, negative 15a. So again, when there's no a and an a, it was just like the examples that we did before. You always attach that variable. Nathan, am I done here? Is this my final answer? Okay, why can't I put in my calculator 9 minus 12 minus 15? Why is that wrong? Yeah, so they're not like terms. Very good. So that's how you would do this first one. The second one. Rob, you're up. What? Good. So again, there's a 1 here. So I have 6x squared. Okay, keep going. Good. 2x times negative 5 gives me negative 10x. Oh, you're done. Good. Sarah, you're up. What number am I going to multiply inside this bracket?
You'll get negative 4x minus 28x.
Close. Okay, so you have negative 4x, yes, because there's a 1 here, so I'm left with 2. And then what did you say I got for the last one? Careful. What numbers am I multiplying together? I got to look in front. Negative 4 times negative 7, very good, gives me positive 28x. Yulia, what will I get for the next one? Minus 3x. Very good. So a lot of times students forget to attach the x and forget to look at signs. So that's okay. I'm glad that those mistakes kind of came up because they're very common mistakes. Okay, Caitlin, you're up. What would be my next step here? I have to group like terms together. So I'm going to start with 6x squared. What's the same as 6x squared? Good. So I've taken care of all of my x squared terms. Kevin, what will I write next? So I wrote all my x squareds. So what comes next? Good. And Austin, what do I get for a final answer here? No, it's not 2x squared. 6 minus 4 plus 3. What is it? Thank you. I'm going to fix my 5. Okay. So again, nothing too crazy here, I hope. Maybe a little bit longer. Now, I realize that you don't have a lot of room for this last example, so I'm sorry. But you definitely want to fit that on there. Now, why is this example different, Ben? There is square brackets. So this is actually telling us that I have to do what's inside these brackets first. So I'm going to ignore this 3 on the outside. That's what I'm going to do at the very end. So I'm going to write that 3, carry that 3 down, continue to write my square bracket, and then do the distributive property here. So Ben, when I do the distributive property here, what do I get? Mm-hmm. Perfect. Okay. Vanessa, this one looks a little bit different. You're this right here. See how I have a 4 on the other side? That also means multiplication. You can write the distributive property that way. So that's kind of like going backwards. You could rewrite this. You don't have to, like this. So you could rewrite this as 4 bracket plus 4 negative 2a minus 1. That's the same thing. So it's just a different notation that you need to be aware of. So Vanessa, writing it like this, what would I get? Negative, good, because I'd multiply in. So negative 8a, gentlemen, minus 4. And I'm going to end my close bracket. Now, I have to, again, because I have these closed brackets here, I have math to do inside those brackets. I can collect like terms. Joey, what am I going to write here? Collecting like terms. How'd you get that? I'm going to simplify what's inside this bracket here. So I need to group like terms together. Good. Okay. And then Laura, how does this simplify? Nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm simplifying the inside of the bracket. Good. And what do you get? Negative 14. Good. Okay, what do you get for the next part? What do I do for that next one? I've taken care of my A's. What math do I have to do? Nick, can you help her out? Yep. Negative 12 minus 4 gives me negative 16. So I've taken care of my brackets. I simplify my brackets. Now I can do the final distributive property. Jenny, what would I get for this? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's the final one. So again, when you have square brackets, you have to take care of what's on the inside, simplify that all the way down, then expand in. Anyone have any questions with that? Sorry you didn't have room to write that on your note. And I'm hoping that you're writing that in your note because this is, if I were to say you could use your notes on a quiz or a test, maybe I'll say it, maybe I won't. You definitely want to have these filled out. Okay.
On Thursday, are we allowed to use our notes?
No. Okay. I have now a binomial times a binomial. You would have learned this in grade 10, whether you're academic or applied. We use this acronym. How many of you have heard this acronym before? FOIL. Okay. Anyone remember what FOIL stands for? First, outside, inside, last. Okay, so when I'm multiplying my first terms together, Danielle, what will I do? Good, that's my F. My first terms are my first terms in each binomial. So I'll get, what will I get, Danielle? 8x. Good. Okay, Carissa, my outside terms. What am I going to do? Outside, what two terms are on the outside? Yeah, so that's my O. 2x times negative 5 gives me negative 10x. My inside, Nick, what terms do I multiply for my inside? So that's my I. So I'm left with 12x. And then Zach, what do I get for my last terms here? Good. How many of you remember that from the FOIL, good old foiling days? Okay. David, is this my final answer here? Good. Where are my like terms here? Good. So what would my final answer be, David? Excellent. Okay, again, this next example, a bit more complicated. I have I have FOIL that I'm going to do. I have a number outside of a bracket. This is a little bit of a lot of steps that we have to do here. Your first one that I would like you to do is you're going to do your FOIL first. Don't touch the numbers outside the bracket. Do FOIL first, okay? So Nathan, I'm going to carry this 3 down. When I do FOIL here, what will I write? Good. So I'm going to have 3 bracket x squared. X times 2, so I write what? Plus 2x. Very good. And I'm going to end bracket. The reason why I have brackets here is because I have to multiply this 3 by everything. Does anyone have any questions so far about what I've done? Okay, now I have to take care of my next one. So I'm going to drop down this negative 2, and I'm going to do FOIL. Rob, can you help me out with this? What do I get when I do FOIL for the second set? Good. X times x gives me x squared. Keep going. X times negative 3 gives me negative 3x. Positive 5 times x gives me positive 5x. Positive 5 times negative 3 gives me negative 15. Okay, Sarah, I can simplify something in each of these brackets.
So, do you want me to multiply?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you would do, so just leave x squared,
So I'm going to carry down the 3
carry down
bracket.
the 3, and then it would be minus 2x minus 8, and then
Still write that.
x squared plus 2x minus 15.
Okay, so again, as a reminder here, we only add the exponents when we multiply. So when we're collecting like terms inside these brackets here, I leave the exponents alone only when I multiply. Okay, now I do the distributive property. Yulia, what will I write on my next line here?
3x squared
Good.
minus 6x minus 27, and then minus x minus 2x squared um, minus 4x plus 30.
Beautiful. I'm going to let you look at that and soak in the awesomeness of that, and then ask me any questions. Okay, does anyone have any questions about how I got any of those terms? Okay, I'm not quite done yet. Caitlin, I have one final step. What do I have to do here? Good, so what will I write?
X squared.
I gotta group them together. So I start with,
Sorry, 3x squared minus 2x squared, and then negative 6x, and negative 4x, and negative 24 plus 30.
good. Okay, Austin, what will be my final answer here? Okay, if I were to ask you this question on your quiz on Friday, how many of you feel you would get that correct? Okay, if you're having difficulty with this, let me know. We're going to do some practice questions, okay? Um, is anyone still copying this? Okay, I want you to try this one. On the desks. On the desks. So remember, you want to do FOIL first. That's my hint to you. I'm telling everyone right now, do FOIL first, okay? See how you make out. Okay, this is a difficult question. So if you haven't quite finished it, follow along with me here. The first thing that you want to do is the FOIL with the two brackets. So when I do that, I'm going to carry this down. 12 minus 4. Because if you remember in BEDMAS, the first thing I have to do is brackets. Technically, I do not have any brackets in here. What do the brackets mean here in this case? What do the brackets mean? They don't mean do the brackets. The square brackets that we talked about earlier mean do what's inside the brackets. What do these brackets here mean? What operation does that mean? Multiply. Okay, so I don't have brackets. So I don't have exponents. I don't have division. I have multiplication. So I'm going to do my FOIL. So I have here 12 minus 4. I leave that out. So then I should have here x squared, because I do x times x. X times positive 2 gives me positive 2x. Negative 5x. Negative 10 in brackets. How many of you at least had that step? Okay, when you simplify, 12 minus 4 bracket x squared minus 3x minus 10. Okay, now what I saw some of you do is you did this 12 minus 4, which gives you 8. I can't do that addition and subtraction first. I have to follow BEDMAS, and in BEDMAS, I have to do multiplication. So I'm going to, because there's brackets here, that means multiply. The number outside this bracket is negative 4. So I multiply negative 4 inside. So I'm left with 12 minus 4x squared plus 12x plus 40. Does anyone have any questions with that? So again, I don't add or subtract these. I have to do the multiplication first. My final step, I would group like terms. Negative 4x squared plus 12x plus 40 plus 12. I'm just moving this 12 over there. And that leaves me with negative 4x squared plus 12x plus 40. Oh, wait, plus 52. That should be the final answer. That's a tough one. Okay, if you're lost, you got to come talk to me, okay? Okay, we're going to do our last two examples so you can erase your desk. Okay, again, I have brackets here. I am still going to use the distributive property. Instead of 2 terms, I have 3 terms in each bracket. No big deal. We can't use FOIL per se, because FOIL would let us, there's really no acronym for this one. Yes? Sure. Okay, so for this one, I take my first term, which is x squared, and I multiply it by everything inside this bracket. So when I multiply this, I have x squared times 2x squared. What would I write for that? X squared times 2x squared. Ben, can you help me out? Yep. Can you keep going for me, Ben? So I did x squared times 2x squared. X squared times x.
Alright, so that's x, that's still x squared, right? Oh, x3.
Yep. And then
And then, 2x squared.
minus 2x squared. Okay. Then I'm going to take, so I've done my first term. So I've multiplied my first term by all three terms in the second bracket. Now I take my second term, and I'm going to multiply it by all three terms in the second bracket. So Vanessa, what do I get? Write it on here.
Negative 6x cubed.
Good?
Minus 3x squared
Good?
plus 6x.
Very good. So, Laura, what do you think I'm going to do with this last term?
Multiply with the 2 and the x and the 2.
Good. So I take negative 1 times 2x squared. What do I get with that, Nick? What do I get here?
What? Oh, we're, okay, sorry, 1 times, x.
Negative 1 times 2x squared.
Oh, is, negative 2 squared.
Good.
Oh, want me to keep going?
Yep.
Okay, then, negative x, and then negative 2.
Very good. Oh, it's, yes, thank you. Negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. Thank you. Okay, Danielle, what will I do on my next step here? Good. So what will I write down?
2x to the power 4 plus x cubed minus 6x cubed plus minus 2x squared minus 2x squared minus 3x squared plus 6x minus x plus 2.
Perfect. Okay, Carissa, what am I going to write down here on my next line?
2x to the power 4 plus minus 6x cubed.
Not minus 6x cubed. So what do I have here? This is a pot. When there's no number in front, what does that mean? 1. So I have 1 minus 6. What do I get? Negative 5. Good. X cubed. What do I get? What do I do next?
1 minus 2x. 1x.
How'd you get that? Okay, so I've taken care of my x4. I've taken care of my x cubes. Here are all my x squareds. I plug all of that in my calculator. What do I get? What would I plug in my calculator, Carissa?
Negative 2x squared. No, negative 2 minus 2 minus 3.
Negative 2 minus 2 minus 3 gives me negative 7x squared. Nick, what do I write for my next one? Good. Plus 5x. And yeah, and then I have that plus 2 at the end. And that's my final answer because all of those are the exponents. None of them are like terms. Okay. Zach. Any idea what we would do here? Pardon? What does this mean? Yeah, what do exponents mean? Pardon? Times it by itself. Perfect. Y squared minus 2y plus 5. There's bracket number 1. And then I do the exact same thing. When you have this entire bracket raised to the exponent 2, that's talking about repeated multiplication. So it's saying I'm taking this and I'm multiplying it twice. Very good. David, I'm going to take care of my first term here. My first term is y squared. So I'm going to multiply this in. What do I get?
Y 4 minus 2y cubed plus 5y squared minus 2y cubed.
Hang on. Okay, that's my first one. What would be my second one, Nathan?
Minus 2y times
Minus 2y times.
minus 5 squared.
Good, so tell me what I'm going to write. Minus 2y times y squared gives me?
2y
Good. Minus 2y times minus 2y
plus 4y squared.
plus 4y squared. And then minus 2y times positive 5. Good. The last one I have to do, Rob, is what? Good, I multiply that in, positive 5y squared. Keep going. Good, multiply that, negative 10y. Beautiful. Okay, Sarah, next I have to group my like terms together. So I'm going to start off with,
Y to the 4th 4,
good,
minus 2y cubed plus, is that 5y cubed or squared? Squared.
that's squared.
Minus 2y cubed plus 5y squared plus 4y squared plus 5y squared minus 10y minus 10y plus 25.
Beautiful. Anyone have any questions with what we've done so far? Okay, Yulia, you're up next. What would be my final answer now?
Y4 minus y4 cubed
Good.
plus y
Plus,
plus 14
good,
y squared
good.
minus 28y plus 25.
Beautiful. Okay, and then that's my final answer. So, yes, this is a little bit long to do. There's lots of ways that you can make tiny errors, but we need to practice this because this is what your test on Friday, or sorry, your quiz on Friday will look like.
Wait, what? Thursday or Friday?
Friday. 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 What do I keep saying?
Thursday.
I'm sorry, Friday. Okay, so this is all the distributive property. I'm going to give you your seat work.